Okay, welcome to the channel. So we're going to go over 6.2.6. We're going to go over the champions I used and why, as well as just kind of looking at the hardest part of this. To be honest with you, this particular level was fairly straightforward outside of the boss fight. The boss fight is really, honestly, you'll see when we get there, but I will tell you, it was one of the hardest fights I've had in quite some time. Um, there are tricks to it, and there is a reason for the variety of what I'm doing here. And I even do make one change to the team when we get to that option as well, which is the first time in any level I've even taken that option. Um, but we'll discuss that a little further when we get there. So right off the bat, you can see here I went with Tigra, Nick Fury, Colossus, Corvus Glaive, and Heimdall. Heimdall was pretty much just the synergy champion I brought in to make it a little easier to keep Nick Fury and Corvus alive, thinking I'd need to save a couple extra revives on the way to the boss fight. I could have probably done without him, to be honest with you. Okay, so right off the bat here, we're going to go ahead and look at the level and look at the different nodes. The path I took was the path directly up the center, which is actually one of the easier paths. Plus, on top of that, it does quite a bit for unlinking a lot to do with the final boss against the champion. On the Stark Spidey there, the only thing you really have to keep in mind is the special 2 biased, and then he's unblockable for the first 6 seconds. So as long as you can dodge him for 6 seconds, you can pretty much walk through him. You'll see when I get there, that was pretty quick, simple Corvus fight. The Hyperion fight here, what you are going to have to keep in mind is the Mystic Condition 3 there. Basically, you don't want to nullify, Fate Seal, or stagger him, which is where Tiger comes in great because, of course, she doesn't nullify, she neutralizes. Then we went on to the Iceman fight down here. Now, on this one, you do have to be careful. You need to be aggressive against him because he does get increased armor up every 2 seconds if you're not hitting him. That obviously that can be removed as long as you're staying consistent on him. Blade here, this one is one where he is more defensive, so he will spend more time eating up his power bar and regenerating. So as long as you're aggressive against him and can punch through the uh, block, you can really take him down easily, or else you could turn around and use someone like Void and actually just let him eat himself alive. On to the magic fight here. Uh, Biggest thing with her is she is just an even bigger tank than she normally is. She has increased combat rating. After that, speaking of Void, we did go on to him for the next fight. And you got to be careful with him. He becomes unblockable under 25% health. Outside of that, as long as you can just avoid him and take out that last 25%. Now, on the Gladiator Hulk here, um, the Might Charge, whenever he's doing a medium attack, he can actually purify all debuffs on him and becomes unblockable. So you do got to watch those mediums a little extra. Then we went on to the Corvus Glaive fight. Now, here with Corvus Glaive, the biggest things are he does have increased crit damage and power rating, which, considering how much Corvus does crits, that Tank Buster node there can actually be a big thing. So you got to watch it. You don't want to take too many hits from him. He's gonna wreck you. And then he's also got Spite. So the more buffs you have on you, the more power increase he gets, or power gain he gets. So basically, he can build up to that special 2 a lot faster, and of course, that is unblockable. So you want to take really close watch on that. Now, on to the champion here. Now, the champion is completely different. He has special 2 biased, which that in itself, I mean, obviously, we took down a lot of the link notes. So you don't necessarily have to worry about those. But the special 2 biased, I've seen a lot of people talk about the idea that the special 2 biased is where you want to trigger, especially for the last 10% of the fight, which we'll talk about here in a second. I did have a hard time getting him up to the special 2. I tried to go that route. So if you can keep him from setting off the special 1 and get him up to the special 2, I do think it is a little easier to avoid and to dex out of, which is going to come in really important. But if not, and you do end up in the position that I ended up in, where he just was so aggressive, and the special 1, he just kept triggering it. We'll talk about kind of some of the timing on that as well. But I will tell you, it was not a pretty fight for me, and it took a lot. So the thing, what you need to talk about here is what's called Power Stone. This gives him new abilities. For the first 30% of the fight, it's considered the pre-show phase. It's a pretty straightforward fight, but he's gonna be aggressive. After that, you go into what's called the opening bout phase, which is 70 to 40%. At that point, he becomes even more aggressive, and on top of that, his light attacks are unblockable. Then you go into the main event phase for the 40 to 10%, which actually turns his medium attacks unblockable. His aggression goes up even further, and now he can instantly shrug off any debuff. And then we get to the final part of the fight, which is the last 10%. Now, this one, yeah, there's a couple things to talk about here. First off, he is indestructible until you get the 5 charges off of him. Now, how to get those 5 charges off of him is you have to dex a special, which is really hard to do, especially off of the special 1. Off the special 2, he does a high kick, and if you can get in there and get right back out as he does the high kick, you can do it fairly easy. It's pretty easy to time on that one if you can get him built up to a special 2. That I found a lot harder to do. So on the special 1, you have to avoid the final headbutt, which is also, to be honest with you, it was a pain trying to get in there just in time, just as he was doing the headbutt, and then turn around and get back out. I went through it several times. Honestly, the biggest portion of this video is going to be the champion fight. It took a lot to get that last 10% off. The first 90%, just take some high damage healers and be aggressive. Get in there, get as much as you can, get it down, and get to it. That last 10% is going to be a lot of skill and a lot of timing. And I will tell you this much, I got to a point on several occasions where I was worried I wasn't going to get through it. I had to set down the game and walk away a couple times. And rethink my strategy. It was a very long fight, guys, so don't necessarily get discouraged. I'm going to show you the entirety of what I did every time I had to revive, the whole 9 yards, but I am going to speed it up because I will tell you these first several fights, all of them combined took a third of the time it took me just to get through the champion. The Stark Spidey fight here, really easy. I took Corvus in because of the fact that there are so many opportunities to get his glaive charges along this path. And so you've got the Stark Spidey, which gets you your evade and your tech And then you go into the Iceman, which will get you your Mutant, and then also the Gladiator Hulk, which will get you your Avengers, which can get you all 4 of his glaive charges, which put him all the way charged up going into the champion fight so that I could have him do most of the work, or at least that was the original plan. I brought in Tiger specifically for the Hyperion fight and a couple of the others. Like I said, with the fact that you don't want to be using Nullify, Fate Seal, or Stagger on him, her Neutralize takes care of that without a problem. Like I said, the Iceman fight, we went right back in with Corvus Glaive so that we could get our next charge, which would put us up to 3 charges by the time we finish with him. Again, fairly quick, straightforward fight, nothing to worry about. We went ahead and moved on from this one fairly easy. We did heal up before we went into the fight just because, again, I was trying to save the revives. We had some items used on anyways, so it was more so crank out a few potions and then let everybody do what they were going to do. I brought Colossus in for this blade fight because I knew, especially with the fact that he was going to be so defensive. First off, no reason to give him any kind of advantage on allowing him to bleed me. So, instead, I wanted to build up to my special 2s and be able to be unblockable and just eat him alive. As well as, of course, having the Storm Relic on there, I went ahead and got him stunned there so that I could beat on him just a little extra. And he got a little aggressive here at the end, and I still easily enough finished him off and moved on. Then we moved on to the magic fight. Went ahead and took Tigra in for that one as well. Deal with some, that way we could keep her dealt with. Of course, we do have to watch out for her regen, but as far as that goes, we were able to get through that fairly quickly and fairly easy without too much problems. Again, did take a few hits on that, but of course it is magic. I did mess up here and allow her to get up to the special 3, but it wasn't enough to finish us off, which gave me the opening to go ahead and take her out. Took a little bit of work there at the end, as you can see, but like I said, still was able to go ahead and finish her off. Then we moved on to the Void fight. I went ahead and used Nick Fury on this. Of course, Nick Fury isn't necessarily your best counter on this because he does have health gain at the end there, but of course he's going to eat up all of that anyways. So it was more so just the high damage deal so that I could get through Void quickly. Especially knowing that last 25% he was going to be unblockable. This one actually went fairly good. I think actually we left in the entire gameplay on this one because it actually went so smoothly that it was really a short fight. Then we brought in Corvus to get that last charge there against Gladiator Hulk. Of course, like I said, we do have to watch out for his mediums. But at the same time, a lot of it is just going ahead and getting in there and getting a little aggressive, especially with Corvus. We've got that unblockable special 2, which of course did a lot of the work there, but I think I did screw up here and still kind of got caught a lot more than I wanted to. Obviously, the Heimdall synergy saved us there and gave me a little bit more to work with here. I do believe, if I remember right, he still did catch me right before I was able to finish him off, so I did end up using a revive here. I was just about to. I was trying to get the special 2 and missed the input. I swear it wasn't my fingering, but at the same time, it may have been. So we did have to go ahead and revive. Didn't fully heal up, knowing that I was going to go in there and just pretty much finish him anyways. But again, he was very aggressive. So you want to make sure that you're maybe holding it back and getting your parries in a little better and things like that. But you do got to watch. Like I said, he's so tanky and so just destructive. Getting up to that special two, though, pretty much is going to do the work all the way with Corvus, and especially now that we got to that last charge. Now, then we went in with the Corvus fight here. Obviously, I went in with Tigra massively wounded, but I wanted to see how far we could get on her with the fact that we were trying to save a few revives here. Knowing that that champion fight was gonna be, I was gonna consume on that one. I wasn't quite for sure how well I could pull off the timing on the dexes at the end, and honestly, it didn't go nearly as well as I wanted it to. This Tiger fight is another one that I decided to go ahead and leave in the entire fight, just because it was almost textbook. Even with her being going in as wounded as she did, I was able to just, over and over again, keep my timing right, keep my distance proper, and move in there and just take him down. Now at this point, I did choose to switch Quake in over Colossus, and I wonder if I should have switched Quake for Heimdall. Now Quake I brought in here because I had seen Dork Diggity Dave do it a few years ago, using her to get through and be able to pull off the dexes at the end. And she does get the final one for me, but it was I still questioned it a lot on whether or not it was going to work with her or even anybody, to be truthful with you. I'm going to go ahead and speed up the gameplay on the rest of this because, like I said, it is rather time consuming. The move of even trying Heimdall was a complete waste. I was just trying to get what I could off of him for, to get that first 90% off of him, just doing whatever I could. Heimdall was one of the last, just trying to get through every champion first. And of course, I wanted to save Nick Fury to be alive as long as possible. Brought him in, did what I could with him. This first 90%, it wasn't pretty by any means, but it was one of those things that we were able to fairly easily get through and get to the more complicated part of this fight. As you can see there, Nick did a lot of work. I was able to bring Tiger in, and get through quite a bit of the remainder there up until obviously we got caught, and then of course brought in Corvus to do his job. And each of them were, like I said, those were my heavy hitters that I was planning on using to get through the first 10%, and for the most part they did their jobs. If I would have healed all the way up on Tigra the first time, I think we could have probably got him all the way down to the 10% right away. Now, obviously, Corvus, this one was just nasty. He got so aggressive. I told you in that third phase, he gets really aggressive, so you have to be all over him or he will be all over you. An evade champion would not be a bad play at that point, for the first 90%. If you can get a decent evade champion that's going to also be able to be high damage dealing to get through that first 90, just because of how aggressive he gets. Now, here is the thing that is the most important part. These 5 charges take forever for me to get off. But this is the one thing I do want to remind everybody, and the one thing that I didn't actually see anyone else mention in any of their videos, and that is this. You do not have to get all 5 charges off in a single fight. You can get one charge off and go down, get another charge off and go down. There is an advantage if you can manage to get all 5 charges off in one fight, because you do get a fury buff every time you remove one. So you can actually end up with 5 fury buffs out of it if you can get them all in one time. It's hard to see here on a couple of these, but basically, like I said, what it is, build him up to that SP1. If you can get the SP2, that's great. But at the SP1, what you need to do is, when he is in the middle of that SP1, I'll show you right on the next one here. Okay, right here. You need to get right back in there just in time for him to do that headbutt. Let's bring that back just half a second. Okay, right before he does the headbutt there that you just saw, you want to get in right as he starts to go for the headbutt and then immediately get back out. Now, at that point, you cannot use an evade champion. It has to be a dex. You have to... I'm not going to say I'm the best at dexting. You guys, there have been people that have commented on some of my videos already that I need to get better at dexting. And this is why. If I was better at dexting, this would not... It was definitely a timing issue as well. You see plenty of times where dex goes across the screen, but it's that last headbutt that you have to dex. And the problem is getting in there right before the headbutt and then getting right back out. Because otherwise, if you're trying to block, like I did there with Nick Fury, it's not going to work. He's just going to headbutt. He's just going to take down your block, stun you, and finish you. So you can't do it that way. You'll see I do quite a few different attempts here. We do finally go back to the attempt of what, like I said, I got off of Dork Diggity Dave and attempt Quake again. And she was the one to get get the final charge off of him. We are still sitting at 3. We were able to get 2 early on. Honestly, this is the thing about it is this was going so frustratingly that I didn't even know at the time which charges I had gotten off of him. Or in which matches I had gotten charges off of him. Okay. And you can see there, I was able to get the second one off with Quake. Again, I was getting frustrated with this fight. If I would have been paying attention well enough and taken the break that I needed to take a little sooner in this instead of just continuing to revive. It was late. I was trying to get through this level. I wanted to get it out for you guys. Which, even with that being said, it's been days since I got this recorded, and I'm just now getting it out to you guys. So I pushed myself further than I should have and cost myself the opportunity to not use as many resources. Let's see here. I don't remember who got the... Nick Fury got the next to the last charge. I tried to bring in Tiger because, she's great as far as moving. Couldn't get it. Tried to bring in Corvus. Couldn't get it. Heimdall, he was alive. I did team revives at this point. They're more cost effective. Tried to bring in Corvus one more time. Thinking that maybe I could get the timing right with Corvus, because of course then I could special to him and finish him off 100%. And still again had a problem with it. That was another Team Revive was right before this. I do believe we take this all the way down to Quake, and then I bring Corvus in to finish him. Um, Believe me, I got tired of seeing those fireworks. There was nothing more annoying than watching him strut over and over and over again, and it was frustrating. This should be Quake getting the final charge, I do believe. Now, you can see here where the Heimdall synergy did save me on a few occasions. And there you go. Quake got that final charge, so I brought Corvus in and knew that I was going to need a power move to take him down. So I avoided him for the most part. Was trying to get up to the special 2 because I wanted to make sure that it was 100% going to finish him off. Messed up the first attempt, second attempt here of getting built up to the SP2, so it was 100% unblockable, and finally finished him off. Again, guys, like I said, it took a lot, and I wanted to show you guys the full depth of what it took so you guys could see that, I edit certain things. But at the same time, I want you guys to remember I'm not perfect. You don't have to be to get through these levels. You don't have to let it set you back. And that is another chapter in the road to becoming Thronebreaker out of the way. I hope you guys liked what we did here. I hope you loved what all we had going. And I hope you guys are excited for the next stage in the journey. I actually have the next few levels already ready. We're going to get those edited out and put out over the next couple days. If you guys are liking what we're doing here, make sure you leave me a comment, hit that like button, and a subscribe is always appreciated. I appreciate every one of you guys, and I will see you guys back for the next one. Peace out.